What is happening?
Yeah.
Hey, everybody.
Here we are.
Just a sunny day in St. Louis.
Man, what is
Four,
this? 5 weeks in a row?
Yeah, you know what?
I've had a different shirt on every time.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, here we are. Episode, 4? On the new series?
4 or 5.
4 or 5? I think it's 4. I think we're 4. I think this is the 4th episode of the Welcome Back series. Here we are. Working on it. This has been great. This is awesome. We are talking Winter with Swinter here from the Swinter Group World Headquarters in St. Louis, Missouri. Got Jason Duncan. Say hello.
Hello.
You know what? Say a couple words. Tell us a little bit about yourself so everybody knows what you sound like.
Well, I speak pretty often on the podcast.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't mean they know who that voice is.
Oh.
Now we know that voice is Jason Duncan.
Yeah, so madly articulate.
Just shut up, dude.
Okay.
So next, Adam Hunter.
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry.
That's perfect intro for Adam.
No, Adam Hunter. So yeah, what do you sound like, dude?
This is what I sound like, you know?
He sounds like 2 squirrels caught in a closet.
You think that...
What? Dude, no.
I don't even know where to go from there.
I'm trying to understand that one.
I'm just happy it's sunny out today. I mean, it's nice to see some sunshine.
It is nice to see some sunshine. It'd be better if it was snowing.
It would be better if it was
It
really
would.
cold and snowing.
Yeah. So that's Adam. Then we got Brent Reeder over there.
Hello.
That's not his voice.
That is absolutely not Brent Reeder's voice.
This is absolutely my voice.
That's his podcast voice.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
On today's episode.
Wait, hold on.
Oh, wow.
Let me reintroduce myself.
No, that wasn't.
No, it's terrible.
Whatever.
So that's Brent. That's me. I'm Ken. Hello.
Yep.
Yep. And yeah, okay. So you know what we're gonna do today?
What do we got?
We're gonna bounce back to again Brian from Northern New Hampshire.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, man.
Shout out to Brian.
Yeah. He threw at us several things to chit chat about.
What's Ken? Sorry to interrupt. What's the name of his company?
You know what?
Did we catch
I
that?
don't know.
Okay,
I don't know. So
Brian,
you know
Brian,
what?
text us the name of your company.
that's right.
Yeah, if you think about it too. So if you want us to mention it, welcome to toss you on there. But at the same time, it's like, you know what? I've listened to your guys' shows. I don't know if I want to be associated with you.
That's
dudes.
true. That's
Very
true.
I'm just saying.
But
he might have started a new company by
You know
now.
what Brian in New Hampshire can do? Tell other people about the podcast.
Oh, I bet he does. He actually, you know what he does? He has his staff listen to certain ones of our podcasts.
I heard that.
as a method of training, which is cool. And so one of the things that he had mentioned was, hey, could you do some podcasts specifically for my guys to listen to for new plow drivers? So you know what? I think we're going to break this up into at least 2 because
There's a lot.
there's a lot. There is a lot for new plow guys. And okay, I'm just going to throw a little disclaimer on there. This is not official training.
No.
This is not paid training. This is not in any way, shape, or form designed to be an all-inclusive or all-informative methodology of training and or certifying any member of your staff on how to actually do this.
Right.
Now, that said, we're going to do the best we can to, do some good teaching in a at least nominally entertaining way.
Yep.
And if
Wholly unofficial.
Now,
We are not.
what? Huh?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I was going to say, if you are interested in bringing somebody in to do official training, like under an umbrella of errors and omissions, insurance coverage, and like actual real honest to God training with your crews, that is something that SG Advantage can do. Wait, you ready? Shameless plug. Shameless plug. Yeah, that is something SG Advantage can do. We can come in, provide training for your crew, operators, office staff, account managers, whatever it is that you would like some help with, particularly on the production side. If you need it, we are 100% there, ready to go to offer training, consulting services, things like that, along with our software solutions. Love to help out. If you're interested, sgadvantage.com is a good place to go. If you want to talk to us about maybe some podcast stuff, we'd love to hear from that as well. 314-260-4352 or podcast@swintergroup.com. Really love to get involved in that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Hey, make sure if you do that, give us your name. Give us your name of your company. We want to give you a shout out. If you engage with us on Facebook, hey, we want to hear from you.
That's right. Well, probably.
Most of the time.
Most of the time.
It's a Jeep thing. You wouldn't understand.
Fair enough. It's a good time. If anybody's on Snowplow Mafia and has seen the picture of the Jeep with a V-box spreader on a trailer behind it, yeah, that's ours.
Yeah, that's us.
And we're proud of it. We are proud of it.
Damn right. The first spreader trailer that was built, I built it in my basement at home, and it was on an old mobile home axle. And mobile home axle.
Mobile home axle.
When was this?
Yes, but I had cut the axle in half and welded it.
Yeah.
And then braced it so that it would be narrow.
Yep.
Oh yeah. This thing was. It was. I'll show you guys pictures some other time. It was for what it was. It was awesome.
Everybody's got to start somewhere.
Yep. I've done that.
Oh yeah.
Cut
2
foot out of the center of mobile home axle.
Oh yeah.
Braced it with some angle iron all the way around. Welded her up.
It's a good time. Yep. All right, you know what? Now, all right, I'm going to say this because we're trying to do some training here for new guys. Owners of companies are going to have their guys listen to this, hopefully, which means we can't waste a ton of time.
True.
Right? And we're already at 6.5 minutes on this one.
Oh, wow.
So I know. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. Now, I make no promises that this entire thing is going to be one after another good information. I'm sure we're going to get off track because that's how we roll. But we're going to do the best we can. So let's start with this. Okay, so here we are. Kill 7 seconds so we can say start this at 7 minutes in the description. In fact, I'm going to write that down. Say 7 minutes. Okay, cool. 7 minutes. Here we go. All right, so let's say you are new to the company you're working for, never done snow before. You have no idea what's going on. You hear you can make some money doing snow, and you're like, okay, fine, let's do this. Or maybe it's just you work for landscaping or concrete company or whatever, and you're just kind of voluntold you're doing snow. All right, let's start with what to expect. Okay, because generally speaking, your main line of work, you kind of got a handle on that. If you've never done snow before, I think one of the first things that has the potential to shock you are the hours. It's all times of the day or night. It's long hours. It's in and there's no stopping work because you've got a recital to go to, or you've got church, or you've got a football game that you're going to watch. It seems like the only thing that stops people from coming to work is the freaking Monster Jam. Maybe a football game
or a Chiefs game. Yeah.
Depending on where you are in the country, if your favorite professional sports team is in, let's say, the AFC Championship game or the Super Bowl.
Not that that's happened recently.
No. I'm just that's a supposition.
Yeah. So we're going to get to how to impress your boss later. But here's the deal. At the end of the day, when Mother Nature decides it's going to snow, if you're in the snow business, be prepared because that means you need to be there.
Yep.
And understand, it's not that you need to be there just to make your boss money. Okay. I mean, the company needs to be profitable. You're part of that company. So yes, there are dollars and cents involved, but understand that you are the service that you're providing. It can very, and without being sarcastic, it can very seriously be a life-saving service. One of the things that we do here is expert work on slip and fall litigation. So people slip and fall and sue. We get involved and help with that. And I can tell you, I've personally worked on many cases that have resulted in a slip and fall on ice or snow has resulted in a fatality. I mean, that happens, man. I mean, people slip, fall, hit their head. It can be life-changing. I mean, this is not a job that you get into just for the money. I mean, this is a job that you do that you are protecting the public. You are making sure that parents can get home to their kids, that grandparents can get to their grandkids. I mean, it sounds kind of corny, but you're really doing this for more than just a paycheck. And the hours that you work, I mean, you have to have a reason more than money for me.
Right.
I mean, to me, you can do a job and pay your bills doing all kinds of stuff. Snow and ice management is something that you can get into that can have such an effect on people that they don't even realize is there.
That's true. And you remember in a previous episode, we talked about those who are here for the income and those who are here for the outcome.
Yeah.
And the guys we want are the guys that are here for the outcome.
100%. Absolutely.
The income
100%.
is going to trail along behind that, but
Yeah.
you've got to be here for the outcome.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. And so understanding why you're doing it's a big deal. But be very prepared for long hours. I mean, if you get into a big event, you can certainly go a long time, but more importantly than the long hours to me, I think are the unpredictable hours.
Now,
Yeah.
when you say long hours, because we're dealing with new plow drivers,
It's a 10-hour day, right?
well, that's what I want to get to. Some people may work 8 hours a day and go, "Oh man, I work 10 hours. Those are long hours." When you're in a snow event, that could mean much longer. So, Ken, in your experience, if you were going to bring in a new guy when you were just starting off and you wanted to explain to him, "Hey, these are some long hours," and they say, "Well, what's long hours to you?" What would you tell them? Think back when you started.
Two very different conversations. So as the owner of Swinter Group right now, I would say that the United States Department of Transportation and the United States Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration dictate and provide guidelines for the amount of time that is reasonable and legal for a particular operator to drive commercial motor vehicles. And under no circumstances will we be outside of those time requirements. Therefore, you can expect to work the maximum time allowed by your local, federal, and state governing authorities. Go back 25 years when I first started doing this, I'd say, welcome to the fucking club, homeboy. We are going for 3 days.
Yeah.
So, pardon the French, but I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, you have to be cognizant of safety. You have to be aware of the rules and regulations where you're working.
Yeah.
But that said, as a driver, be prepared for extraordinarily long hours. These are the kind of things where events, even if you're working in shifts, you can have an event that maybe starts Monday and it doesn't end till Wednesday, or you can have back-to-back events where even if you're only working that maximum time frame, which depending on what your state you're in is going to be somewhere between 9 and 11 hours.
11 is the max, yeah.
So you're, well, but I think that there's some that are a little shyer than that depending on what you're doing. It doesn't matter. So let's say you're working an 11-hour shift. Okay. Understand that you're going to work that 11-hour shift and then you're going to leave and then you're going to come right back and be ready to go for that next 11-hour shift. I mean, it's not like you get time to go take a couple days off and recharge your batteries. And that 11-hour shift might start at 6 p.m. and not be over until 5 a.m. And then you got to be back at it, say, I'm not good at math, at
8 hours later.
Yeah,
whatever that is.
Whatever your rest time is. And in that off time, if you're going home and you live a decent way from the shop, you might take you an hour to get home and then 30 or 40 minutes to wind down. And then you finally get to go to bed, but then you got to get up and get back at it and get back to the shop. I mean, it's over and over and over and over and over. And that's something that it's really hard to explain to guys what that actually means. So be prepared for long hours, long times where you have to cancel plans. You don't get to go do some of the things that you thought you were going to do. You miss out on things with friends and with family, and it's and that's why you can't be there just for the income, Jason.
Right.
You got to be there for the outcome. I think that's a really big deal.
Yeah. And I've learned, in the time that I've been here, that most of the success stories that we see with our company and with some of our subcontractors, pardon me, there's a certain level of passion for the snow removal business.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily have to mean they're as passionate as we are, but there's a certain level of passion. And those are the guys that we see each and every event that are successful, that are out there doing it right.
Because they're there for the outcome.
They're there for the outcome.
Yeah. Yep. And so while you're working those long hours and you're spending a bunch of time doing it, you're also out in arguably the worst climatological conditions you can imagine for moving around, right? So when businesses close and schools close and clubs and organizations cancel their meetings because it's just too dangerous to be out, what are you doing? Going out. You're out in it, man. And so understand those risks as well. So be very careful. Understand what you're getting yourself into. Know it's going to be cold. It's going to be dangerous, and then also recognize that now you're out in this nasty condition, and you're out in working long hours. You're tired.
Yeah.
rest and sleep become very, very important. And so in those times that you're off, make sure you can get the rest that you need, right? And if you don't get the rest that you need, okay, here it comes. Hot topic. Caffeine, energy drinks, things like that, right? To each their own,
Yep.
but understand, what does that actually do when you're chugging,
What's it do?
yeah, you're chugging Red Bull or Monster or whatever it
Really
whatever it is
tears
you're
up your
drinking.
stomach, so I've heard.
So you've heard.
Yeah.
So I am actually in both camps on this, right? I'm all for it up until a certain point. And that point for me is when I can see the end about 4 to 6 hours away, or at least the end for what I'm expected to do before I can get rest. I am all in on energy drinks and coffee up until that point. Because I know for me, 4 to 6 hours is what it takes for me to let that caffeine metabolize through my system to the point where I'm going to be able to sleep when I get to the point where it's time for rest.
Yeah.
I know other people who will drink that energy drink right up as they're walking out the door to go get rest.
Yeah. Yeah.
They may not be able to sleep very well.
And I'm kind of in the opposite camp. I generally don't ingest any caffeine of any kind or energy drink. Like I'll drink like tea, like iced tea.
Mm-hmm.
I'll drink tea like it's going out of style.
But that's unsweet.
Oh yeah, unsweet tea,
That's un-American.
sweet tea is designed by the devil to ruin society. It's awful.
I love it.
Well then move to Alabama, homeboy. I don't know what to tell you. It's
That's about how sweet I like it.
Yeah.
sweet tea is just nasty. Anyway, but like I will generally do like water, tea, Sprite, things like that don't have the caffeine in it, because when I get to drinking caffeinated stuff after being awake for 24 or 30 hours, or even less than that, I get shaky. So for me,
Well, you have to have food with it.
yeah, so for me that doesn't do a whole lot. So with that, assuming you understand everything that we just talked about with the what's going to be required of you in an event, you have to know the best way to manage your ability to be there and be available, right? So
I would say that above the energy drinks and the caffeine is if you have advance warning of a storm, that what is today? It's Friday or whatever today is. That you're going to work on Sunday. Try your best to try to reset your circadian rhythm a little bit. Take a nap during the afternoon, stay up a little later at night, sleep a little later in the morning, whatever you can do to try to set that circadian rhythm off to the right just a little bit so that when it comes midnight, you're not at the end of your rope.
Yeah, and you're dying.
You may get to the end of your rope at 4 a.m, but you get those extra 4 hours to be able to work. Because if you maintain your current sleep rest cycle in anticipation of a storm coming, well, you're going to be hurting at midnight or 1 a.m.
You are, but sometimes you just can't help it because that's me.
Well, I know.
I know it's coming. Here comes the snow, and it's like, I know I should probably get some rest. Should be coming. It's 6 p.m. It'll be showing up about 4 a.m. And you're like, I can't sleep. 12 o'clock comes. 1 o'clock comes. I fall asleep about 2. About 3 o'clock. All right, let's get it. Let's
do
get
it.
it.
Well, but on that, like another thing that works really well for me is a 10 to 15 minute power nap.
Yeah.
So like, if I'm out pushing snow, slinging salt, doing the job, and I'll get to a point where I'm like, man, I can feel myself being tired. I can feel a delay in my reaction time.
Mm-hmm.
I can feel this coming on. I'll just find a spot. I'll pull over. I'll grab a quick little nap.
Yeah.
10 or 15 minutes, just enough to recharge the batteries, get a little bit of rest going. Generally, my phone doesn't last that long without ringing anyway. And then, bam, I'm able to get back at it. So that's something where, there again, as you get into this line of work and as you get into this business, you're going to be not encountered, but you're going to be presented with a bunch of different ways of doing it because the coworkers that you're working with, they're all going to have whatever works good for them.
Right.
So I would suggest paying attention and trying some stuff out. Do what seems like a good idea to you, right? So if you think that, somebody says, hey, I'm going to grab a quick nap real quick and see if that helps. Give it a shot. See if that works. You may find that you lay your head down and you are unable to function again for 6 hours.
Yeah.
That's bad. Okay. You don't want to do that. You may also find that energy drinks just tear you up. And to Brent's point, that hurts your stomach real bad. That's no good. You're going to have to experiment with this a little bit. And something to understand is that every single person that works there that's done this for any number of years, they've all been there.
Mm-hmm.
So they've all tried to figure out what works. They've all made bad choices. They've all had to figure this out on their own. So there's no shame in, oh my man, I can't do it. I feel like crap. I chugged a bunch of Monster. I mean, just talk with people. Right. And so, do the best you can to learn from those folks and see what works for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
There's Brent.
Yep, I'm here.
21 minutes in. He's here.
He was over here sipping some Red Bull.
That's right. He's over there chugging Red Bull.
He just finished his Red Bull. He's ready now. He's ready.
Okay. Have you guys ever drank like Red Bull and vodka, or Red Bull and booze?
Yeah.
A long time ago.
Jaeger.
I understand that is both an upper and a downer. And
a good time.
It is a CNS, central nervous system stimulant and depressant that you're giving your body at the exact same time.
Yeah. I've never.
It's a bad idea.
I've never had the balls to do it.
I don't drink Red Bull anymore.
It's beautiful.
Did you say Jägermeister?
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
So I've
Red Bull.
heard anecdotally that you could get really, really super drunk, but not be able to pass out and fall asleep.
Some of my worst nights are on that mix.
Man, so I as you fellas in this room know, and maybe some listeners know, I played in a band in my younger days, doing all 80s hair band stuff. It was awesome. But for whatever reason, it was the thing to do to buy the band a shot of Jaeger, right? And so
I wouldn't do it straight.
Do that. Oh, well, and like
mixed it's really good.
Yeah, I don't know, but I've had
back in the 90s, doing a shot of Jaeger was a thing to do.
Dude, so much Jägermeister. Well, it was.
I have a story about that.
I can't drink it anymore.
It's not going to be for this.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, all right. Okay, so with other stuff to expect, right? So another thing to expect is that when you're in the snow business, right? Understand that because, like we talked about a little bit earlier, lives can literally be at stake here, right? So I mean, you're providing a safety-based service, right? So you are making premises safe for people. When doing so, there is a huge amount of pressure to get that done as fast as possible. Yeah. So understand when you come into this, there is a ton of pressure to get things done yesterday.
Yes.
So that's something that, like let's say you're on a mow crew, right? You want to be efficient with your time. You want to get things done, in a reasonable amount of time. But at the end of the day, you're, the owner of the company doing whatever service it is you do outside of snow. There's generally a push to be efficient and to be reasonable with your time.
Yep.
But it's different with snow. When you start talking about snow, it is very high pressure. It is very right now. It is very...
And it can come at a much higher cost, if not.
Holy cow.
Yeah, and I think that's it. That's, something that you and I talked about a couple years ago whenever I was thinking about coming on here. And I had mentioned that, if you have an issue with a construction job or a concrete job as a customer, right? You call the vendor up. Okay, I'll have a guy out there Wednesday to take care of that. It does not work that way.
No, not with snow.
Because the way we generally find out there's a complaint is that somebody has fallen down.
Right. And
that has to be remedied right now.
Oh, right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's where, the customer calls and says, so-and-so was just removed from the property via ambulance. They're on their way to XYZ hospital.
Yeah.
There's ice everywhere. Where the hell have you guys been? Why has this happened? That is not the kind of thing that's like, yeah, my guys are all taking a nap right now.
Yeah.
I think that
I'll get somebody out there this afternoon.
Yeah, that doesn't happen. That's not the answer that your boss is going to give. It is, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. I will be there
right now.
now.
Yep.
And so understand it may be on you to get out of bed, get dressed, get in the truck, get to a depot, load material, and go there. And so what that doesn't mean is, okay, I'm going to go ahead and get up. I'm going to stretch a little bit. I'm going to leisurely get ready to go. I'm going to, you know, cook some breakfast. I'm going to wait for the coffee to brew. I'm going to go ahead and, you know, make my way to the office like I would if, to your point, the construction job had something to be fixed. No. When there's snow in the forecast, or if we finished an event and I'm trying to get some sleep before the morning, I mean, I've got my long johns laid out on the side of the tub. I've got my high vis laid out on the side of the tub. I've got my boots right there. I mean, I am, if I get a call and it is go time, I can go from dead asleep to in my truck rolling in less than 10 minutes.
Oh, absolutely. I can do it. Yeah, absolutely. Less than 10 minutes.
Yeah. And that's what's expected of you. And the other thing that you have to keep in mind too, is if you live in an area where it's really hilly, or, oh gosh, it's icy, I can't get there, that's not going to fly.
Yeah.
You know, you have to know how to get to the office, because this is an emergency service. Oh,
well, and I'll give you,
I know I'm picturing some scenarios that have happened in the last few years.
yeah. Well, I can give a perfect example of our most recent event here was a substantial, prolonged freezing rain event. And it was time for me to leave and get some rest. And I looked in the clock and I'm like, man, I got 6 hours. I could get home, get good rest in my warm bed. But how am I going to get back?
yeah.
Right? I can't. It's going to be too icy. There's no way. So a few of us bit the bullet. We went to the local hotel, which is really close, got our 6 hours of sleep there and came back. And even coming back from that was a little hairy, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just trying to scrape my windshield in the parking lot in the morning. Brent and I talked about, as you pushed on the windshield scraper, your feet would slide back.
Yeah, you couldn't even stand straight to scrape your window.
Yeah. So...
Sorry, I don't mean to, no, I'm not laughing at you. My brother just sent me a text, and it's
sounds relevant.
It's not at all, but it's pretty good. It's a picture of Joe Biden with that pseudo confused look about him.
Yeah,
right. We all know that.
We're familiar.
And the caption says, "Biden gives Americans nuclear launch codes just in case anything ever happens to him." It's from The Onion. It's pretty good.
I love The Onion, by the way.
Yeah.
And the Babylon Bee.
Oh, yeah. All is good. So, okay. So high pressure, got to stay close. And another thing that's really important to understand is that one thing that happens with snow is everything breaks, and it breaks at the worst possible time.
Irregardless of age.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, something, when you may have, I'm like, so Jason just showed me something.
Is that not fitting for me?
Yeah, fair. So understanding that, okay, you're new to snow and you're out there working. Something doesn't work right. It's pretty common for guys to not want to call the owner or not want to call their supervisor because something's broke, because they don't want to get in trouble, right? They're like, oh my God, I got to figure this out.
Yeah.
I don't want to get in trouble for this problem, right? Believe me when I tell you that your supervisor, your boss, the owner of the company, whoever it is, that whoever you're reporting to, they understand that equipment breaks. They understand the harsh, rigorous conditions of a snow or ice event. They understand that machines can, diesel will gel up when it gets really cold. I mean, these are all things that have happened to them. They know this.
Yeah.
So if you're out running a machine and it starts running kind of funky and it starts sputtering and it's not running right,
I like to call it coughing.
Yeah, immediately call your supervisor. Be like, man, this machine's not running too good. I don't know what's going on. Yep. Your supervisor's going to look at the they're going to look at the temperature. Be like, oh, it's -11, wind chill of -24. Huh. Not sure we had enough additive in that diesel. Crap, the machine's probably gelling. Okay. And then they can immediately jump in to resolve that problem. Right. Send a couple fuel filters, some 911. It's going to be fine, right? So that's a solvable problem at that point.
Communication is so important regardless of what business you run, but in storm for snow, it is crucial.
Oh, 100%. You need to make absolutely sure that anything that doesn't seem exactly right, you are communicating that to your supervisor as soon as humanly possible, so that they can deal with that before it becomes a bigger problem. If you wait an hour to call somebody and say that there's something wrong, in that time frame, they could have maybe solved the problem and it's no longer a problem. Well, now that you've waited, now it's a problem. So that is some really, really, really important stuff to remember there as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, going back to your point about stuff breaks, you're not always going to get a pre-indication that something's going to break.
Nope.
I mean, you could be plowing along, and the next thing you know, you look out and your plow is just sort of bouncing left and right.
Your wing's bent.
And you have no control over it. Your wing could be bit if you're using one of those wide out things.
Wussy plows.
Don't even get me started.
But no, hoses break. Hoses come loose. Things happen. And to your point, any boss or supervisor or owner, I hate using the word boss. I really do.
Yeah.
Hey, boss.
Leader.
Any
Don't you like the word owner?
I do, because we'll get to that later. But anyway, they're if they are worth their salt at all, they are going to understand that things happen. The worst thing you can possibly do is to let that go and create an unsafe condition on a property.
Right. Now with everything we just said, I'm gonna kind of wrap up this section here real quick. But something to keep in mind is that we've talked about you're low on sleep. We've talked about it's a high stress, high pressure job. We've talked about the ramifications of failure. We've talked about all of the things that make this job hard, right? As the operator that's out in the field, there's a lot of things that you're having to contend with from a physical and a psychological perspective. Okay. Let's say your owner is at the office. Okay. They're not out in the field. They still have those same pressures. They still have the same problems. They still have the same constraints.
I would say that it might be even a higher level.
Well, that's where I'm going.
Okay.
Is that to tie this back into, and the reason why things breaking was kind of the last one on this list was because when that thing breaks and you're nervous about calling the owner or calling your supervisor and saying, "Hey man, the plow's broke." Understand that if your supervisor or owner maybe flies off the handle a little bit and expresses frustration in perhaps an overly direct method, right? It's not necessarily you. Okay, that's what I wanted to wrap this up with is that in that moment, all of the stress and the lack of sleep and the overcaffeination and all of the hassles and the pressures of everything that's happening, and they just got chewed out by a customer because somebody slipped and fell, and then you call and say, "Hey, my plow broke." Understand what the owner is going through, what your supervisor is going through.
Yeah.
It's not, we all do the very best we can to try to keep our cool and maintain our resolve and be good leaders in an event like that.
Right.
But man, sometimes it is really hard, and you have to understand that everybody's under that same stress. Right. Everybody has the same pressures, and it's not just you. It's not just the mechanic. It's not just the loader at the depot. It's not just the owner. Everybody shares in that, which is part of the outcome. When you come out of a snow season, I guarantee you're either going to work somewhere else,
yep,
or have a better relationship with your coworkers.
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're either going to do something after that snow season. If you make it through, you're either going to do something where you never have to deal with that again, or you're going to be very, very close with your coworkers, and the next time it comes around, you're fist bumping and saying, "Let's get to it."
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
yep. And something that I'll mention too is look for the guys on the crew that are struggling, because they're going to be there.
Absolutely.
There's going to be coworkers of yours that are not handling things as well as you are. And that coworker, honestly, might be your owner, might be your supervisor. They're buried under a mountain of stress and problems and equipment failures, and they're doing the very best they can. But at the end of the day, they're losing the battle of the mind. And think about what can you do to help?
And I think the key word there is empathy.
Yeah.
You may not understand at their level of leadership everything that it entails, what they do on a day-to-day, in storm, whatever the circumstances are. But if you can have empathy, it's going to help create a better environment. You're going to be able to create better leaders within your organization, and you're going to be able to team build. And I think it goes a really long way if you can show that discernment for that, because it also shows that you care.
Right. And it's kind of like in understanding when, when you're on top of your game. It's like Brent every day. He walks in here with like the John Travolta right. He's got that strut about him. He's like, look at all you losers. You guys are just, must suck to be you guys. But you know what? He's got it. He's got it under control.
No, it doesn't.
He can help us with these things, right?
That must come natural because I wasn't aware.
Oh, we didn't say it was fake. We just said you had it.
Right. You got it, man. And but that's something that you can really do is look for the guys that are trying to figure it out.
You've got that nest.
And on the sort of on the flip side of that, as an organization, I don't want to get too far off track because we've talked about this in previous episodes, but as an organization, you're going to recognize that there are people. I should say maybe you're going to recognize there are people on your team who just can't do it.
Yeah.
Some people just aren't cut out for it. And a perfect example of not this winter that we're
Don't name names. I'm
not going to. Not this winter that we're currently in, but the one before. I had somebody who, let's say we were colleagues and peers, who came to me and said, "Hey, I got to get some sleep, man. Can you man the ship?" Sure, man, I got it. Go home. And then 9 hours later, that person comes back, and now it's my time to go home.
Right.
And I'm ready, people like that who need, I'm really trying not to be too off point here.
Pudding.
But there's guys who are going to need, the guys that need that kind of time in between a shift are probably not cut out for the snow business.
That's
you're getting
tough.
real with us. You're getting real.
I am. And again,
that's serious.
It's just an example from here, from one storm at one company in one season. So I don't want to overgeneralize. I'm certainly not trying to do that. But that's just as an example of, as an organization, you will recognize at the end of the season.
I think it depends on your level of involvement with your particular company. So I
agree.
For example, if you're everybody that's sitting in this room right now, we don't need to disappear and get 9 hours off without our phone ringing to survive.
Right.
Because we've been doing this a long time. We understand how the business works, and we're all there to help each other.
Yep.
That said, there's a difference between the managerial side of things and the operational side of things.
Absolutely.
And so, that which also ties back to sort of the hourly and time requirements.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those guys, we have to let them go get their rest.
Right.
But as you're coming into the business, if you're like, man, I've got to go I can't function without 7 to 9 hours of sleep.
Right.
Just make sure to communicate that.
Right. And and I kind of lost track of, this was more geared towards a new employee in the snow field. And so maybe for them, that's something
that falls in line with our topic.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. That could
perfect.
That could gradually, for them, work in over 2 or 3 seasons that they get acclimated to what the snow business actually entails.
Yep.
So
you know what else the snow business entails? Being respectful of other people's time.
Exactly.
And so you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna let the doomsday of the snow world episode end. So we're gonna move on. The next episode will be actually what to expect on snow events, right? So anyway,
Looking forward to it.
this has been great. From St. Louis, Missouri, this has been Talking Winter with Swinter. Jason Duggan, Adam Hunter, Brent Reader. My name is Pepe Le Pew. It's been awesome.
Wow.
Thanks everyone for stopping by. We'll see you
Have
on
a
the
good
next one. See ya.